This hobby is finally paying off. I'm actually getting review copies of games. I can't believe I get to review Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS. I'm reviewing the NES tile, aren't I? Directed by Mr. Game Boy Gunpei Yokoi, Kid Icarus was released on December 19, 1986 on the Famicom Disk System, and 2 months later on the NES. In Europe, Kid Icarus wouldn't be released in the States until July of that year. It's interesting to note that the title screen doesn't offer any backstory, so imagine picking up this game at a rental store with no instruction manual. You have no idea who or what anything is. Turns out this guy's name is Pit, and he's escaping the underworld prison of Medusa to rescue the Angel Land and the goddess Platunia. You face enemies like snakes, these flying red things, and even Grim Reapers. The gameplay is very similar to another Gunpei project with the vertical platforming and the ability to shoot projectiles, albeit a bow instead of a laser cannon this time. The interesting concepts of this game is the world is treated like a cylinder pillar with the ability to walk off one side and come out on the other. However, unlike Metroid, the screen only goes one way, up, and if you fall off the screen, the game's over. Not to mention there are some really crazy parts about this game, like the part where you fight Metroids, or the part where you turn into an eggplant. I'd love to show you footage of this, but I can't, because I've only made it to the first level. You thought Donkey Kong was hard? Well, Kid Icarus is twice as hard. It's not Battletoad hard, but it's up there. Not to mention, Pit has a bit of a slide when it comes to his walking, which when it comes to small platforms, can be really frustrating. Either that or I suck. But being hard is part of Kid Icarus' charm. So then why didn't the game sell? Well, it could have been its difficulty. It could have been its lackluster graphics. Hell, the game didn't even have a background. Or it could be the fact that a month later, a certain little game called Metroid was released. Kid Icarus would see a sequel on the Game Boy in 1991, and then nothing. Pit was in the dark for years. There was rumors that a Super Nintendo remake was happening, but besides one video, I haven't heard anything about it. Years passed, and it became apparent that Pit had been left in the dark without a wing or a prayer. That is until 2008 rolled by, and he was announced for the roster of Super Smash Bros. Brawl! And then suddenly, rumors started flying in on every single direction that Pit was coming back for his own game. That game would be announced in 2010 at E3 as Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS, which has just been released. Now, why bring this up? Well, release of Uprising, it's been almost 21 years since the release of a Kid Icarus game. We should show Nintendo that Pit belongs up there with the big guys. Everybody who owns a 3DS needs to go out there and get Kid Icarus Uprising and show your support for Pit. If you can't get Uprising, you can get the next best thing. As well as Uprising, it was announced that the original NES game would be remade for the 3D Classics series on the eShop, alongside of Myths and Monsters, the Game Boy game, They're both available in the eShop right now. We need to stand up for Pit and finally give this angel his wings.